Press the button.
Hello, I think we are live. Let me just check that screen. Yes, we are on. Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Indiglo on the 7th of November, 2018. We have a special panel today. I've got some guests in the form of the usual brother Andy, Eye of Creator, aka. We have Sun and Moon Family, SAMFU, Sun and Moon Family United. We've got them in today for an informal hangout with us to discuss a little bit about them, their interests, their background, our friendship, how we interact, why, what we do in the background, stuff like that, really. Good evening, everybody. Introduce yourselves. Off you go.
Hey, hello, David, Patricia, and Andy, and the chat room. It's Karen on David's Hangout. It's really weird this way around. I've been saying, I couldn't press the button to start.
Do you know it's the best thing to be out of control is to be in control?
Oh, turn the camera off a minute.
Yeah. Anyway, over to Patricia. Patricia?
Oh, sorry. Keep cutting out again, Karen. It's like we just get the odd words. Yeah. It is weird. I mean, it's not different for me. I'm still here and I'm still talking occasionally. But yeah, for you, Karen, it must be really weird having sort of no control over it. But it's good.
Yeah, thank you. It gives you a night off. You do a lot of hard work on your channel. You've put a lot, thousands, hundreds of, I would dread to think, to collate the amount of time you, the family, the channel, how many guests you've had on, how many guests you go through in 365 days and collate the amount of hours that you chat about. Very, very, I consider myself to be quite an eclectic consciousness when it comes to the realm, the matrix, and you and your realm, family, environment, community ask some rather perplexing questions of the mind that, in law, Andy, you can relate to this perhaps, that we go down some, in the early days, we go down some rabbit holes and we get lost and we get perplexed by what we find. And it takes time to sift through and get some structure and organization. And with what you guys do, it's we need help with that, where you've come from and your angle of you
missed a bit out. You missed a bit out. And those that come back.
What do you mean those? What? In reference to what?
Yeah, you said the amount of people that we have on and those that come back.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You have regular slots with returning guests. Yeah, it's just amazing. It really is. I'm trying to, let everybody that doesn't know or is aware of your channel and your guests that you do go. How many shows a week do you have? Go on, you take over and explain what happened. Go on.
Well, we generally go on a Monday, a Tuesday, a Thursday, and a Friday. But sometimes to meet the person who we've asked on, we might have to go on a different day. Like we have Effie brother, his name's Josh, I think, as well. We've got him coming on, but he can only do a Saturday, so the day will change. But we generally go on 4 times a week, sometimes 5. And we try... Well, we started off as a research group. Everything was about researching, and then things changed. Then we decided to be Family United, where it was a platform not just for the researchers, but for researchers and the people. So everybody's trying to have a chance to talk. And we made a new friend last night. We had authentic intent on our channel last night. So it's about communicating with as many people as you can, and everybody's got a slight different story or a different way. And and that's how we met you, David.
Yes, very friendly family, and I was intrigued in the subject there. I didn't know whom you was at the time, but I like her to speak. I speak her too much, and yes, you accepted me and welcomed me. Some channels on YouTube are quite hostile, and you go in there and you know, you're not welcomed, and they have their gang in there, and you know, if you speak out of turn or you go against a narrative, you know, and you've got an open mind, you get shot down. So I'm very wary of YouTube and some of the channels and the chat rooms, and you know how it is. It's a community of its own. YouTube. I've realised at first I thought it was rubbish when I was watching my Sky, and you know, everything Game of Thrones and box sets and whatnot, and Family Guy and Simpsons, and then I heard about YouTube and what you could find, and when I actually came on, and it took me a good year to get used to it, and then I got a little bit knocked back by it, and yeah, the politics. But then I found you guys and listened, and I had a little chat, and yeah, it was a start of great things. I met Santos on your channel for the first time, you know, and Patricia, Flat Earth Guy, all of the family, yourself, and yeah, right.
Well, when we decided to be this platform, it wasn't about exactly me. Okay, I put the hangout together. It's my channel. Blah blah blah. Patricia's there. That side of it. But this time it was about letting the people talk. So we don't have an opinion on the panel because we're not there for that. If we start having an opinion, then these, like you say, these people can't come on, and these people can't come on, and then
Yeah,
suddenly it's a bit like, well, you might not like that bit of it, but then you realise that that person, a lot of what they're saying, someone else is saying, and then you put them together, and then I like putting people together. I like, you know, yeah, I like it. I like it that, you know, like you said, you've met Santos now. That's great. It's about sharing and caring, isn't it?
it is, yes, and you know, Andy, I don't know his opinions or if he's got any input on his interaction and how he finds and that, you know. But we can't do everything, and you know, we need other channels. Nobody can do everything. We need other channels, to reliable ones, and author or friendly ones, and honourable ones that have got disclosure, you know, locked off, and that like we have, and we can come in and say, hey, what you doing? Have a chat, and see the research, and you know, the channels that come with that. You see your chat rooms are quite busy and fast, and there's a lot going off there. There's very articulate, concise, you know, it's really good. It's well done. I didn't know about Blue Spanners for a good year. Wow, that was funny, and finding out about them, and you know, thanks for you. It was you that I asked and said, how do we go live? Remember that chat we had?
Oh yeah.
I rang you.
Do you know what our first hangout was like? Not realizing, thinking that you could go on and sit like we were on the back one, but at this time we'd go live. We didn't realize we'd set it live from the beginning. So
Oh wow.
actually, we weren't quite sort of burping and all that kind of stuff, but it's a bit like people sitting there, you know, how long is it till we go on? And rabbit about all these things that you wouldn't say live.
Yes, yeah.
About 20 minutes before we realised, oh, we're live.
Yeah, thank you. It's for sharing that and being honest. It's, you know, it's not. We all make mistakes, and it's just technology is a bit overwhelming sometimes. Building websites, putting items on, taking donations and stuff. It's, you've got to put yourself out there and try. And like me and Andy say, application and intent will get you through. So, you know, kudos to you. And yeah, for everybody else in the chat room, I rang Sister Karen and said I want to do a live hangout. I've never done one before. You know, I'm building a website and stuff and integrating law and technologies, but I can't seem to go live. That's a true story. So I said, please help me. And, you know, I went into YouTube back office, create a studio. I was immersed in there for a good 45 minutes, and I made the call. A man down.
Yeah, I suppose to the people out there, it doesn't mean that everybody that I have a hangout, I'm talking to for every 10 minutes of every day, and you know, we're connected like that. But some of the people, yeah, we stay connected and good friends. David's
Yeah.
one of those people. We talk not all the time, but we talk, don't we, David? So that's great.
Yeah,
And if we can help each other, we do.
that's it. It's a network. We strengthen networks, and yeah, it's very good. It's information, isn't it? It's what you make of it. So, can I ask you what some of your channel's highlights have been? When did you get established? You know, when did you set up, and what have some of your highlights been? Then, and explain the work that you do there as well, please. You know, Patricia, you and Patricia, if you could.
She's not unmuting. Well, like I said, go on, Patricia. You go first, then.
No, you go.
Sure.
Oh, bless you.
Okay. Like I said, we started out as a research group, and we were looking at maps and all that kind of stuff. We started the very end of May last year, so we've been going for 1 year and a few months. Yeah, and learning along the way, and when you have a channel, sometimes you have to be a little bit protective. If you're not, you get strikes and things like that. You learn that as you go along, though. Highlights. There's been so many. I think most of the hangouts are highlights, all of it. It's great to be a part of this. It's great to help. It's great to be there. It's great to put people together. Highlights, there's so many. Santos, Crow 777, Mr. Fry then Survive. We have Patricia Steer on, Russian vids, all the other channels.
Everyone.
Alex Music Conspiracy, Robert Forsh, Mike Helmick, Martin Leakey, goes on and on. I mean, we're hoping to get I'm Realm Media on next week, which I told you about, David.
Yeah.
The list goes on. We had Lady Co-Pilot the other day. We have that lovely Sarah, Leisha, Roxanne.
You have a ladies' night? Do you not have a ladies' night that I was trying to get
John
into
Smith
the other week?
Vinny TV. Oh, dearie me. David Mannell. It just goes on. Astro King came on the other day. Martin Kenny. I mean, how many more do I have to say? It's amazing. I love being a part of it. Sorry, what did you say?
The ladies' night. I said I was kind of getting on that about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think the ladies do like having a ladies' night. The only reason we didn't have so many last time was just that people had issues or problems. Like, I don't know if Patricia was there. She had an internet problem, and someone else had been in a storm and they'd lost their internet. The pole thing had gone. So
yeah.
But it was great. We don't speak to Lady Co-Pilot so often, so it was great to speak to her. Sometimes the more people on a hangout, the less people talk, if you know what I mean. It's just when there's too many people, sometimes the smaller it is, it's great because it's more intimate.
She had a very interesting story, that lady, about the gyroscope, wasn't it? Lady Pilot, for those that don't know, was that the lady that asked some questions of the cockpit, yes, about the instrumentation?
Yeah, she I can't say too much right now because I can't.
Well, no, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I mean, there's been hangouts, and there's a hangout where she's already spoken to a gentleman. There's a channel out there. I forget the channel I watched it on. I don't know if it's still there. And I've listened to that, so I'm aware. Yeah, she's been on your show and what's been said. But there was some controversy surrounding the instrumentation of a flight panel, namely the gyroscopic technology that keeps the horizon flat. So it's a flat horizon that the pilot will use to they have the altitudometer which tells them the actual height, and then for the wing, isn't it, the wing correctivity. I'm not a pilot, so excuse my terminology, but the wings are flat when that gyroscope that floats on a, you know what a gyroscope is, it's like a compass in a ball shape, and it sits on the control panel and it says true north, and it has wings. The horizon that's flat, I might add,
it proves we're not moving.
Yeah, it's all this kind of technology, and she's asked questions about that, and subsequently then had to go and see the chain of command and answer for that. And she's come on and chatted. I've seen her. What was a channel? There was another guy, weren't there, who was on a channel, so I picked it up from that. Yeah, it was in a bit in the news as well.
The only thing I'll say is she'll just say they don't understand what a gyro is, what the gyro does. They don't understand it or won't say. They do understand and won't say, but they're acting like they don't understand.
Disclosure on it, yeah.
It proves something big time.
Yeah, if the unit is connected or not connected to an artificial intelligence of some time, an independent operating iOS operating system, or is it standalone on its own? And if it's standalone, go on.
Can I just say that I've got a little verse I'd like to read out to you during this little conversation. It's from He Continueth to Rome. It's chapter 28, and it's verse 24. And some believed the things which were spoken, and some believed not. So there you go. It's in Acts, that is, he continueth to roam, and it says in it of the fraud and deception that shall be laid out in front of us.
Yeah, that's exactly right, I think.
Simply
It's this
put,
very scripture that shall tell you that we're on a plane of the plateau, the terra firma. It's all in here.
it was Delone that came out with that for me. I think it was. It's an aeroplane, not an aero globe.
It was me, mate. I told you, I've never seen an aero globe. They've always air over the plane. That's what's called aero.
Yeah.
It was you. I know it was you. I just winding you up. Yes, very poignantly put. Indeed.
It's
So,
really sad for all the pilots that don't wake up, though, isn't it? Because they're flying over a flat plane and all they see is a ball. It's strange, isn't it? Oh, all they think is a ball. But
yes.
anyway, something else I want to say about Sun and Moon as well. You know what you were saying about people having a go? In a sense, it's really strange because it's supposed to be family united, but with quite zero tolerance on bad behaviour in the chat room. Everybody has to try and get on. It's not our fault we're here. It's not our fault we've been indoctrinated and all those things to go through. So, we're where we are, but we all know that we've been lied to and, so forth. So, and that's another reason why we try and give as many wrenches out as possible. Because that's wrenches, those wrenches, those blue wrenches, because that's the only way now we can connect with those people, isn't it, in the chat room? Like, I talk to you, but I don't talk to everybody in the chat room like I see and talk to you. So the only way you can do it is by giving these people a wrench to show them they're part of the family. It doesn't mean that everybody that doesn't have one isn't part of the family. It's just the ones that have got the wrenches keep coming back.
Yeah. Let me just check the chat room. Good that you said that. Somebody wants to join. UK female biker. Indi, can you join me? I have studied this for years. We're only 2 wishes and we got 36 in. Hello to the 36. Thank you. UK female biker. We are just having an informal hangout. So it's not really an open hangout as such. But if you let us know, it's not. Yeah, we can have an open hangout, can't we? We could arrange one if we ask female biker what it is that she's. Maybe they think it's a law. Hello, everyone. It's not law today. It's just a break. we might have confused them. Sorry. But we could see what she's got to say. Hey, is that a name you recognise, Patricia or Karen?
No.
Are they subscribers? Have you seen them in the chat room?
No, I don't think I have. But she may have been, but I don't recognise her. No.
Yeah, we've all right. Yeah, no problem. We can see what. Well,
P900. Sandra says she's got no subs, but yeah.
Ah, all right then. Yeah, that's no problem. We've got some. Yeah, I've given some moderator out. I'm just looking for Patricia and co. I'll give some out. Some more there. Just to help out, so it's not so. Stressful. You just reminded me by the. I call them blue spanners. You call them blue wrench. Same thing. Tomato, tomato. But yeah, does Patricia helps out in the back room? Does she? Then you have
Patricia's amazing.
Where's Greg? Greg's getting one, whether you like it or not. This is what I need to do. You see, like Andy, me, we kind of just roll alone. We do it ourselves. We've got the admins in the group, but on here, there's me with this account, and we're going to set creator another account up, aren't we? Very soon, brother.
Yeah, see, you've got subjects, haven't you? We don't really have a subject, do we? We're a flat earth group and we host for people to talk. You will have subjects, like Andy's channel will be what he wants to talk about. I do put my own videos up, but the idea is it's part of the group and family and things that are going on and topical. But you have a different voice. We are more listening. You are more talking.
Listening is the key.
Yeah, if you don't listen, you don't learn. Yeah. Tonight, I'm mostly listening. You guys can chat. I'm just moderating. Moderation. Yeah, Sandra helps you in the office and back room moderating. What did I say then? Patricia. I don't know, reading that off the screen. What's Patricia's interest in all of this? Has she got any highlights or anything she'd like to say about the journey? How you see things? Has she got anything, any messages you'd like to get out or something, poignant to say?
I don't know about poignant, but yeah, it's
Go on.
the
Go on.
group. It's a fantastic group. We've had some people come and go, and some people stay, and we're all learning this together, and just like Karen said, it was a research group, and we had a lot of research. We still have researchers on, but it's more about bringing people together, and not everyone's going to agree with everything else. And like Karen said, you need to keep your opinions to yourself. Maybe not opinions, but if you don't like someone, does it really matter? We're all here together, and we've got to love one another and care for one another. And I would just say that the highlight for me is the variety. There's so many different subjects, so many different people that come on, and it's just fantastic. And I love this group. I don't know what I'd do if I weren't in this group.
Oh, Patricia, I love you.
I love you too, Karen. I love everyone.
Oh,
Bless you, it's beautiful.
yeah. Oh, I'm all chuffed now. It is nice, the variety. Well, I hope everybody sees that.
But unto them that are contentious and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, indignation and wrath, tribulation and anguish upon every soul of man that doeth evil, of the Jew first and also of the Gentile. But glory, honour, and peace to every man that worketh good, to the Jew first and also the Gentile. For there is no respect of persons with God. For as many as have sinned without law shall also perish without law, and as many as have sinned in law shall be judged by the law. For not the hearers of the law are just before God, but the doers of the law shall be justified. There you go.
There'll be a bit of a silence after all that.
Sorry about that. I'm just putting on my little 10 penneth now and again.
Yeah, nice words.
For when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves. And these are what we're getting away from. This is that's speaking of the system of those across the border in the Canaan, of the Kabbalized structured force of law here.
Yeah, I think in another way of putting it, like when we're talking, we don't have to worry about this ego thing. It doesn't even enter our heads.
Absolutely, you leave your ego at the door. With your judgment.
It doesn't mean in the future there might not be like, oh, I don't know, things that you don't like, but I just don't see it doesn't happen because we're not doing it like that. Every day you just meet people that, yeah, you've got to get rid of this ego thing. The really strange thing is this whole thing about flat earth was about you, because everything's not been about you because you're a speck of dust on this thing 93 million miles away from the sun, whatever. And the sun saw us as a speck of dust. So we're a speck of dust. But you find yourself and then you can help the whole. So you have to find yourself, but then you start hopefully giving out to everyone else. And it does not have this ego thing. I don't know. We were talking about just before we came on, like a frequency or something. There's a frequency some of us are on.
Yeah, vibrations. Yeah, we vibrate, don't we? It's like when you learn something, when you bring us information or when we bring information to our subscribers, what happens is there's a consciousness awareness that happens, and if something happens to each and every one of us along the journey, and we in our movement law renaissance we call it losing the fear, and knowing thyself, knowing who you are. But this
Yeah,
realm,
it's sort of like, you know, if one of you's hurting, then we all hurt.
For you are I. That's how it should be.
yeah, yes, I.
It's having the awareness. It's all about the self-awareness for those around you and that of yourself mainly, to see how you are being perceived and the outward projections that you are sending out through your vibration consciousness. You may be sat there silent. However, you could be putting a dull mood in the room because of, you know, your aura, your aura that's around you. We all pick up and we all sense on each other's. So if we can stay calm and the loving heart vibration resonance, then it helps a whole lot, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so that made me have a nice breath of air then. Thank you, Andy.
Well, for we are in each other's image, we are created in one another's image. We are all equal in the eyes of the Creator and in the eyes of the Law. There is no one above each other here. So if we can just put our arms around each other and have the consciousness and awareness for each other's troubles in their lives and what's brought them along their journey into this light that we are being seen at the moment, and appreciate the path that they may have been taken or pushed down, not wanting to take, that's the awareness required here, and put the judgments aside. That's pure heart resonance right there.
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it? It's powerful. Powerful sometimes. Knocks you back like you have to take a breath.
Yeah.
Yes, brilliant. Very
It's being at
beautiful.
one with yourself. It's knowing thyself. If you
Yes.
know thyself, then you know thy neighbour. And that's how we help one another. Your neighbour doesn't have to tell you he's breaking his heart. You'll already know by the look on his face. And it's these actions and these intentions and the goodwill that we can pick up on and make tomorrow a better day and a better place.
Yes, and you know, community, it comes down to the community, the awareness, doesn't it? We have online communities, we have a community with your physical neighbor next door. You know, you have a community at work, you know, and the smokers community, the drinkers community, the alcoholics, and everybody, the UFO, MUFON, you know, everyone's got a community there, but we all ultimately have got carried away, well, not carried away, but maybe too focused on our community and how we look, and egos then, yes, you said the egos earlier, and we've forgotten, you know, the basic premise, as in law, as we find in Andy, man's forgotten the basic premise, and we come along, few sentences, bish bash bosh, what are you worried about, job sorted, like, so yeah.
It's really strange because I remember watching this program and it's a bit like you need a bit of an ego even to get out of bed. So it's not about not having an ego, but it's just about how you use your
It's
ego.
keeping it in check. Your ego is a part of your fight and flight, your gut instinct. It's whether you're going to big it up or you're going to run off. But your ego is in your mind, it's emotion. And your emotion has a very, very clever way of bigging up your ego inside, and it's a negative manner. And that's why you got not to let your passion of the heart be overruled by the emotion of the mind. They're like oil and water, one's positive, one's negative. And when you mix them together, you blow a head gasket. So the heart passion resonance is always there when you're at one with yourself. Your gut and your heart will always override the pessimistic, negative mind, the oil. If you stick to the clean water of the heart and the gut, you will prevail every time, because your mind controls every muscle in your body except for your heart, because that's got a mind of its own.
Can I put it another way?
Absolutely.
Inside of you, you have a child, a parent, and hopefully an adult. But with the child bit, there's like it's a book. I read it a long time ago. It's called "I'm Okay, You're Okay." But what happens is that a child, probably by the age of about 3, has worked out how it's going to live the rest of its life. So whatever happens to that child in the first 3 years, so there's a stance, I'm not okay, you're not okay. That's a baby, that's a newborn baby. It feels better when it's picked up, when it's with the mother and being fed and changed and stuff. But then a year later, if mum's now having another baby, or the baby days are over. Not only are you getting told off, now you're falling over, hurting yourself. Suddenly life's a bit like, well, I'm not okay and you're not okay. And then the next stage, maybe a little bit older now, you start saying, well, actually, I'm okay, but you're not okay. But actually, where you should be is, I'm okay, you're okay. But in this child, the parent, the adult, is how we treat ourselves. So as a child, there's words and actions. There's things that people will say. What most people don't realise, and it's a really hard one, even if you know it, because they reckon there's about 270,000 parental tapes going around your head. So if your parents were very dysfunctional, you're going to treat yourself just like your parents treated you. And most of the past, as we already know, is not very good, is it? It just isn't where we've come from. And so basically, but where you should be is your adult that thinks. So it gives time whether you do or you don't want to do something. But anyway, the person asked, who's going to answer the door of life? Your child, your parent, or your adult? And this book, it was great. They do this thing called pack marriage. They work out, this is what this person's like, and this is what this person's like with their child, their parent, and their adult. And they can see that people are never going to get on. Because your child needs to match the other person's child, and your parent needs to more or less match the other person's parent, and your adult as well. Otherwise, but most people don't realise it, that they're living in this child way or parent way. Children get upset, the broken cookie, and this is where people don't know who they are, because they're living in these things, which is, I'm not okay, you're not okay, or I'm okay, you're not okay, or we're both not okay, when we should be living, I'm okay and you're okay. It's not really anybody's fault, is it? The whole indoctrination was to do this to people.
Well, as well as they're using words now like anxiety and depression. And anxiety is forward tensed. Depression is in the past. And whether you're living of your imagination of the future or you're living in your memory of the past, it's only ever ruining the now, which we've only got, because we've already made history and we haven't got tomorrow. We've only ever got the now, and that's why we're to make the best of it and to suffer from these things. And as we know, suffer is to allow. We're not to allow our perceptions, our imagination of the future ruin what we've got in the now, nor what's been in the past. Use the past as a lesson to build you stronger. Use it as a dark place, if that's what it is, to bring you out into the light. Use it as a lesson and a reason to carry on stronger.
But that's the bit about knowing yourself. You know,
Absolutely.
You read these books when things have happened in your life. I really like this other book. Her name's something like Yolanda Vanderveld or something. But she saw life like a house. So there was a basement, first floor, second floor, and it goes up to the attic. So in the basement, what is it like down there? Cold, dark, dingy. It's no one knows where they're going. No one can see. Everybody's bumping into each other. No one knows what the hell's going on, and no one knows how to sort anything out. And that's what being in the basement of life's like. But a lot of people actually live in the basement of life for the whole of their life. But as you move up the floors, you're starting to sort things out now. You might not have sorted it all out, but you know what the issues are, the problems are, whatever it is, and you're working through them. And then by the time you get to the attic, you're in unconditional love. There's a cobweb there, but life will sort that out.
Absolutely. Well, I was in and out of the care system as a youngster, and ultimately I got brought up by my nan. I did live with my father for a little while until he got imprisoned, and ultimately back to my nan. So I got brought up by an elderly lady. I don't know what it is to grow up with parents, as they say, but I can strongly say in my own case that the past, although it molds and shapes the environment of who we are, we can't use it as an excuse for a state that we may be in. We can only use it as a reason to positively move forward once you know where and who you are. As a lesson.
But that's the other thing that they've made sure as well, isn't it?
People like to play the victim. Don't victimise yourselves. It's like a monkey on your back, like carrying it around all the time. You know, it's poor me. I can't do this because I got duffed up when I was a child. I can't do this because of this.
Yeah, but
Well,
nobody likes to be responsible for themselves anymore. Again, that's society's done
that's the
that.
age of maturity. That's what you're speaking of, being an adult, stepping up and taking responsibility for their duties and liabilities in life. This is what it all boils down to here.
Well said. Yes, it does indeed. Yeah, the man has to not man up, but accept live in the like you are all a gift. All the viewers, subscribers, the family, the past, the present. You are all a gift, and the present is why we are in the present. That's the gift of it. The present. It's a little bit of a pun because
You can't represent that which is already present. It's as simple as that.
It's
We've
a
only
very
got the now.
it's a very powerful word, the present. Yes, and you know. I don't know. You guys come
Yeah,
up
but
with
I
some.
think that was one of the reasons that they did all this, because what they've done is that, like for us, we've always been told the war, the depressions, whatever it is, and so it's all so horrible behind us. And then you look at the future and think, oh, what are they going to do to us next? What's going to happen? Look at the wars, the machines, the whatever it is, fighting. And then in the present, you've got too much of this baggage. They don't want us being in the present. That's the thing. That's the point of what this was all about. Because being in the present is all this thing about flat Earth, the whole thing, the whole thing.
What's happening, the transformation, the renaissance of information. We've seen the internet created all in our lives, and it's very young and junior and infant. It's an infant, the internet, isn't it? And look what it's done already for us. Look what we dragged out of it. How much terabytes of data and videos and that we've sucked
Speak
down.
for yourself, brother. As you know, I've never owned a computer. I don't know what a terabyte,
But I'm on about
gigabyte is.
the subscribers, all of us, mankind is general, not there are some that haven't, but I'm just saying it's incredible. We're on a movement, and we have information being brought to us, chemtrails and food and what goes into McDonald's ingredients, and them trying to say they're very good, with what they do, and then we find out the truth about stuff. And when that YouTube video where somebody put a burger somewhere and they've left the video running and it hasn't gone moldy, that's the stuff that I love about the information. It's not just rubbish that literally you can find. You can be educated to such a high level if you go out and look for stuff. And the technology, it can be used for man or against man. And like Andy's got some phrases, he said before, from these books and passages and gospels, what we allow will be, and what we permit will be. And technology Hollywood portrays it as a demon and scary and take over your life, and Skynet, iRobot, and all these kind of things, but it's actually an excellent thing to have, technology. It's just that the corporations rule everything. We're finding this out. The stuff you're bringing out, and what me and Andy and the admins and our works bringing out, is that we're finding definitively, without a shadow of a doubt, how things run and how things are made, how things are prepared, where the money goes, what families did it. And that's what we love about your side of stuff as well. You let people present, and they present such an array of information, and they have a voice as well, a platform and a voice.
Absolutely. It's a hive mind, isn't it? It's the hive mind mentality. That's how you prevail.
Not just that, it's always a lesson when we're with you.
Thank you very much. So life's a lesson. If you think you've learned everything, then you must be the creator himself.
Yeah, indeed.
Yours is a little more sort of complicated than when I talk, though, isn't it? With what I've got to say, the information that you've got.
I'm just an idiot. I'm just an idiot layman. I attend the steering wheel each day.
You and Indi, David,
my mate Dave.
Yeah, like that 30-page document you've done. Well done, David.
No, it's well done to everybody. Yeah, that's going to be uploaded at the weekend, and we have an admin by the given name Kevin, and he's presented some intellectual property of his own. Him and a man called Graham, commonly known as Graham, and yes, they we just provide the platform. That's all we do. A place of safety, don't we, Andy? And then the others. All we do is facilitate. Overlords, no, we are not overlords. Overseer, officer, overseer. Yes, KRS-One back in the day. We know, we saw.
As king.
Yeah, we are the kings, and we don't rule, and we don't, give instruction. We just collate and validate and say, what about this? Have you seen this? And
I've just been looking through my verses. I knew there was a verse in here from Earlier on, when our sister Karen
I
says
need
that
to
we're
get you
all,
a beat. Let me
that
get a
we're,
beat. Go on.
that you said that we're all dust.
A speck. Sister Karen said we're
Yeah, a
Yeah,
speck of dust. The
yeah.
yeah.
sun,
So
the sun would see us as a speck of dust.
there you go. Then, so I'm going to read a verse out of my book for you regarding that, if you wish. In the sweat of thy face shalt they eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. How's that?
LBW. How was that? God, so sorry.
It's pretty accurate as well, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. People say that I speak in a certain way and I have a certain verbiage and the way I enact it and stuff. And literally, it is all from this book, which I have ingested and turned around to my own perception of it and what I think it means. And so far up until this point of my life, it's held strong for me. And I can hold this book in my hand and dispel anybody.
Yeah, thank you, Andy.
Powerful.
I think mine was a bit more through psychology.
Mine's through
Mine was
blind faith.
this, I've done some counselling courses, I've had my own social club. There's things about people. I'm generally a people person.
Absolutely.
Usually quite outward going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But these books, there's just a few of them. They made such sense to me, but it was such a shame that you could never get any of this information from your parents.
Well, like I said, I was unfortunate in that realm. I haven't had any, so my own education is my own. I've done it myself, so through
We've
I've
got
got.
to realise that we've got an inner child, and I think really all we are is big children anyway.
Of course, who wants to be old?
We're just big children. We're just older children. And everybody, that getting old thing, it's not as old as your skin looks, it's how old you are in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's psychology way for me. I wrote some poems and things like that in my 20s, this was, and I think that's where I got faced with suddenly me. And then me started to see backwards through reading a couple of books and realising there was this big hole inside me. I had no answers for this stuff. But you can't just go, hey, something's gone wrong. Let's get this book out. Page 20, chapter 10. You can't live out of a book.
Of course you can't. You can't live
But
out of any book. It's only written by the hand of man. But I'm just saying in the legal realm that this is the one. If you want to speak lawful, legal, this is the book for that. There's many books for many realms of life, for many things. But I'm just saying to handle yourself on the seas of commerce and to speak in a divine nature and have a faith, a mindset, a oneness, a central divine belief, then for me, this would be the one. That's all.
yeah, me as well, by the way. My education was horrible. And this whole thing, I only realise now the games that they were playing with everybody, and I realise even at school they've changed how they teach the children. One child had to learn the word by breaking it down one way, and another child had to learn the word then break it down. They started in the 60s by trying to introduce this thing called ITA, and it was a different phonics where you could use the backs of other letters to make other letters. You could make a T and an I into two letters. So they were trying to experimenting on seeing if they could cut out joined writing or whatever they were doing. But what happened was, for hundreds of children like me, where we got piloted, most of them didn't tell the next school we had been piloted on this ITA thing. So, of course, when we get to the next one, we can't. It's like you've learnt French and then you're put in an English class. And then what it was is, what are we dyslexic when we weren't? We're artificially dyslexic now because the system's made us dyslexic. But for me, my parents just thought I was thick and useless, and they told me that for so long that when I got to this bit about psychology, I was sod the Mills and Boons. I was like, I could read books in days. Didn't realise I was much more of an intellectual person. I don't have hundreds of degrees, but I am quite, I've got quite a mind, and I didn't realise that till I had my children. Because don't forget, I was thick and useless, and then got married and had children. I had to listen to my mother say to someone that I was that thick and useless that I might be able to get, because I was so backward, I might be able to get married and have children, and that would be the only thing I could do. So yeah. So I always thought I was thick and useless, but
gracefully with wisdom and knowledge. First, we all have to be young and stupid.
yeah. But then what happens is you start learning all this stuff or realizing it, and then you turn around and still nobody's with you, because what you're saying is correct about things, but how many people are you dealing with who don't know themselves? So you might know yourselves, but you're always dealing with someone who doesn't know themselves or doesn't care.
The deceived shall be deceived. You have to let man live his life the way he wishes to live it. If they come to you with a burning desire and questions regarding the realm, then you can help them and you can show them where the water is. Otherwise, you're quite right. You can't help those who can't help themselves. The deceived shall be deceived. It's a maxim of law. That's what it is.
Yeah, and I did this bit because sometimes we like to help people, because what it actually does is deflect from actually helping yourself. So to the world, you could be helping everybody, but you've never helped yourself.
But you're in a rough place yourself. That's masquerading, you see. You're not at one with yourself.
Yeah,
you turn into a busy fool.
I understood who I was. That's this whole journey backwards. I think I got back to about 2.5. And then this Karen saw everything so differently. Because, as a kid, you believe those people around you, don't you?
You don't know any other.
No. So anyway, yeah. So I kind of knew who. I think what it was as well is my eldest son nearly died in a car accident. He was about 4.5, where it was not the person driving, their dad. It was not his fault. Someone just didn't see the crossroads and drove across the crossroads and nearly killed us, and actually nearly killed my son. And he did nearly die a couple of times, but he didn't. But it's almost the same process.
Because when you come home, perspective.
Yeah, and he was 4.5. I remember him saying, "Don't cry, mummy." I remember him saying that, and in the end,
little soldier.
He looked like a child from Ethiopia, because he got an intestinal issue which they couldn't find, but they knew something was wrong, and he was sort of dying. And then they realised right next to his pancreas, if it hit his pancreas, it would have killed him, because that's digestive juices. It would have killed him. But it was just there. It was a hairline crack, because they knew his intestines had closed down. Anyway, so we go through this horrible process. He comes out of that, and then 18 months later, he gets this internal hernia from this operation, so he sort of has to go through it again. And that's the moment when it was too much for me. This whole thing, I just knew things that I shouldn't know. And even because I knew that he'd nearly died, but nobody told me, I thought by asking that, it would make me feel better that I'd known. And once they said twice that he'd nearly died, it annoyed me. I still wouldn't have been able to have saved him, even though the knowledge. But I just knew these things. And that's what set me off on this path. I started going to spirit groups, and because there's just this frequency thing that goes on for me. Since a child, I don't know.
For all of us, once we're tuned in, it's in the gut. It's your gut feeling. It's your instinct.
But I didn't.
You have to trust it. No one trusts it, do they?
I've never lost it. It's always been there for me. I now realise more what it's about. I don't know if that's the same for everyone else. Yeah, but it's not the same for everyone else, is it? Because if it was, we'd all be awake.
Well, it's fluoridated, vaccinated, and all the rest of the harmful substances that we're up against in our environment. Some have been subjected to more than others, that's all. And also with the cognitive dissonance, people care more than others, people care not. It depends if you're rich and wealthy, you don't care. It depends what spectrum and environment you're from.
I don't want to speak out of turn for anyone here, but all of us on this hangout are really sensitive people, aren't we?
Empath.
Yeah.
I might be just a wee bit sometimes, emotional. I used to until Andy and a few others have schooled me, brother Serge, Andy, a few close new, brothers to the famalan. To me personally, I've learned not to wear the heart on the sleeve, but ultimately, rule of thumb: kindness is never to be mistaken by weakness. That's one thing that I notice man does. Stop, everybody, not so much you guys or the subscribers, but out there are men, women, entities that see somebody that's kind, and they think, and they get a short, sharp shock, like with me. Okay, it's balanced now, so yeah, thank you for that. And
Yeah, I don't know about everybody else, but I see things other people don't see. It doesn't mean they're not there, and it doesn't mean you can't see it. It just means that I notice things, and I think it's part of being this empath thing. It's one story with it kind of like was the ending for me of this relationship. It was one of the last things. This old man was on a bridge in Hungerford where I used to live, and he seemed to be stuck there. And I remember saying, like, we need to stop and help him. And they were going, no, let's just walk on. I was going, no, we need to stop and help him. Anyway, we did. And only when actually we got to his house did I realise how much this man was leaning on me. My main aim was to get him back to where he lived. Anyway, when we knocked on his door and his wife opened it, she said, thank you so much for bringing him back. I know what's happened. It's windy and he's got Parkinson's disease and he got stuck on the bridge. He actually just couldn't move forward with the wind. And if I'd listened to this other person, I'd have walked past and that old man could have been stuck there for ages.
Good on you, sister.
Kudos.
Yeah, that's the bit that a lot of people seem to have lost. No one seems to care anymore.
I use a little slogan. It's "Don't walk by." If it's something unsafe, if it's something untoward, if it's something good, whatever it may well be, let someone else be known and do something about it. Don't walk by.
I was going to say, there's a story somewhere about the Good Samaritan or something, is there not, about not to walk on by, and how to conduct oneself, and it's very adversarial out there. I'm finding it's quite. The government are not much of a leadership. The ships here now, we're into the boats.
Dictatorship.
This stewardship and leadership and guardianship that's happening, right? It's not an excuse, but from psychological, I have the luxury, like you do and Andy does now, and anybody that puts herself out there, is we get emails and we answer them. I'm somewhat behind, but I do answer every one of them. I interact with a lot of minds now, and I'm learning a lot from others, from their interaction and what's going off. And you find that this psychological warfare, this soft war, this 5G and so forth, the government we entrust, and the political parties out there, the left, the right, there's a lady, let me put it to you like this, there's a lady on the news today saying that she's suffering PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, normally previously known as shell shock, normally associated with war and horrific incidences like that. And she come out on the news in this little vox pop and said, I'm going to have PTSD from all of this midterm election if the Democrats and the Republican, the Congress and Senate and seats. And I'm like, what did I just hear? No, you won't. You're just talking politics here. You're nothing like a war situation, and you don't even grasp the concept. If this lady only grasped 1/10 of what we all grasp now, she would for definite have PTSD and fracture a very tiny brain. It just infuriates me. It really does. Oh, wow.
We're at war with our own governments.
Man follows the leaders, and the leaders aren't leading man well. And we don't want to be leaders, and I'm not a leader. I'm an idiot, like Andy said. I said I'm an idiot. He said he's an idiot. So we just want to get the information out there, like you do,
David,
and let the others build up.
David, you're a leader.
I'm an idiot.
In some ways we are, in morality and ethics and so forth, but not of men. We want man to to lead itself with its own cognitive thought, knowing who they are, and like you want, knowing what realm we're on. Is it a ball? Is it a plane? Is it something that's holographic? Is it something that's quantum? Does it exist as a ball and a plane? Why was it written in the Gospels that it was a plane? Why did they all put them words down and write it as it did? Or how was it interpreted and decoded? And in all of the, you know, the continents across the realm, they've had these technologies thousands of years ago, laser cutting 200-ton blocks made of granite that got shifted 300 miles, weren't even from Egypt. And when you had your speakers on and brought this, you know, crazy stuff to us, and it's not crazy, it seems crazy at first, but when you look at it, you're like, wow, this really happened. It's not a crazy made up story, it's real. Yeah,
David,
and this,
David as well, there's a bit about that these things could have been made there. So they had the technology to make it there.
Yes, wow. I mean, it's incredible. So man's been misled, and the reason why we don't care is because we don't know who we are, where we're from, what we live on, and even the videos from NASA and so forth, as you've shown us, and everything we've been seeing, and the clips that are from satellites. I thought those pictures that they produce and give us are from the pictures that the satellite takes, but they're all interpretations of data that somebody has sat there, like Andy's saying, rewritten by the hand of man. Well, NASA takes the data and somebody looks at it and makes a blue marble and says, that's what it looks. I'm like, what? Not even a photo. It's somebody's interpretation, like the book. And I didn't know that shit till I looked at your channel. I'm like, oh man, help me.
Some of this stuff that's been purported to have sent into space it's a few tent poles and silver foil and cling film. What the bloody man are we meant to believe all this? Please, Lord Almighty!
It's Hollywood.
Stanley Kubrick, was it not? And Pinewood Studios. No.
Last night it was on the hangout. Last night it was like. I think it was Authentic Intent, or it might have been Steve, but they were saying that basically it all came out in the sort of 50s and space and all that, and the television, and it was a bit like, well, isn't it really strange that space actually was just like Hollywood or the films have said it was? So they've already done it in the films before.
And because we are left wondering like this, you've now got some kind of mental disorder, like you're not trained in law to deal with legal situations, but they get put to you and you've got to deal with them. So man is suffering from a great many, you know, losses at the moment of identity, for one, and you thinking he's a straw man, you know, thinking whether it be a plane or a ball, you know, it doesn't to us, don't take, as I've said to you before, it's not our priority, but it does disturb us that, you know, things of deceptive natures that involve billions and billions and trillions of taxpayers' money going into research for space and, you know, space exploration when we can't get out because there's probably a dome there, worries us, because where's them trillions going? What's going on? What's happening underground? You know, what's happening?
Disgusting. It's disgusting to lie to us like that. That was one of my videos, was to make a whole people believe in a reality that doesn't exist. That's taking your freedom away, because it's pushing you to making you believe, oh yeah, we can go to Mars or whatever it is. It doesn't exist.
And God said,
reality.
Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. So as above, so below. There you go. That's just what's in the book.
Thank you, Andy. Breathe again.
It's incredible, isn't it? It's down to you.
Why do you think they give these kids at Christmas, you know, another lie Christmas, that the whole thing's a lie, but they give them the snow globes? They're in your face. All these things are all in your face. That's how we reside, as they are in a snow globe.
And I didn't find out about Admiral T. Bird until I'd seen some research on your channel, and one of your guests brought him up. The South Pole expedition of Admiral T. Bird is a very interesting subject to look at.
You're not allowed to go to these places without authorization and licenses and permits and all this. Well, if you go without, you'll be shot. Simple as that.
I still think that he wasn't talking about the South Pole. He was talking about the North Pole.
You reckon?
because everything's
pull of
back
the
to front,
poles.
isn't it? Everything's
Magnetism,
the
the
other way
pull of the
round.
poles. That's what gives us the tides in and out at the seaside. So that's what the follow the pull. The stars are stationary. The old admirals and maritime rules and the laws of the sea that they follow by the compasses, by the magnetic pull. And no GPS, no sat nav, none of all that stuff was required back in 1666.
Yeah, we used to use the stars, and we don't well, use apps, don't we? Patricia and I were talking about this. Well, Patricia especially the other day about Antarctica, weren't you, Patricia? Patricia?
Patricia, yeah. No, you don't. That's not how you call Patricia, is it? Now we all know that that's not correct.
Okay then, Patricia, no, 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 no. Patricia, no, 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 no.
Sorry, Patricia, that's my takedown. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'll blame you for that. Yeah, it's like we don't know if these photos of the ice wall were actually taken in the North Pole or the South Pole. We don't know. We've never been. You know, we don't believe anything. You know, we're trying to work out these things, and you just think, oh, you know, some of them you just can't get your head round, and some of them you don't want to get your head round because it's just so confusing. And, you know, it's like we don't know anything really. We're clutching at straws. We don't know anything, but it's fun trying to work it out anyway.
Well, we've got homeless men, women, and children dying on the streets. Where'd you put your attention first?
To the people.
You know, but they put these distractions out there to take your going on Brexit and all these stuff. Well, they're bringing in rules and legislation and forces of law.
Don't forget, we could be going to war with them.
Freedom of speech. We'll always be going to war. If we're not at war, then we're not to be paying taxes. Till the day you die, every country of the realm shall be at war until it comes to 2030, and then the one government, one rule, one currency, one refugee chip, one everything. It's already ramping up as we speak. Ready for Agenda 21, the cashless society and stuff is nearly here.
Not on my watch.
Not on mine either, because it's how I make my living, my love. But hey, that's the agenda that's getting pushed here.
It is almost horrible sitting here knowing something's so wrong and it's happening, and we're watching things happen, because when they happen, when they're telling you something, it means something else, and
we're watching and masquerading,
waiting, and you still can't do that much except just reach out and try and get more and more people to wake up and come on into the family.
Mm-hmm. Step up and be responsible for yourself at the age of man. For your duties, your responsibilities, and your liabilities of the world.
They don't want. That's the whole point. They don't want you to be responsible.
No, that's why they took over in legal terms. They've took over the husbandry role of every household of the realm. They own your children, they own your house, and they own the land that it sits on in accordance with them. Until you've rebutted with all of their assumptions and presumptions, because they're all registered, and to register is to give away. We've all registered our children, our car, our homes, everything's registered. Your mobile phone, everything's registered. And to register is to give away.
Also, the thing that people do is we blame everybody else for something else, but
because they don't accept being the fool. You don't have to put your hand up and say, sorry, I've been a fool, because that's ego. That's what we spoke of earlier.
In your own back garden. The government don't make that for you. You make it. You make it, not them. You do. And the thing is, though, they've almost attacked it so that now all we're doing is looking down at our phones. I'm just as bad sometimes, you know. And nobody likes each other. Watching Jeremy Kyle, everybody's family's breaking up, having an affair. We're just not communicating with each other anymore at all, are we? Not even on, you can't sit on a train and have a nice conversation with a stranger. Who does that anymore?
I've been in households where people upstairs are texting people downstairs. I couldn't work it out. I couldn't fathom it. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, or what my nan's brought me up in an old-fashioned way, but lordy, come on.
The other thing I think's gone as well is we used to all sit round, well, we did when we were children more, sit round a table and have our dinner. Now,
it's all on your lap.
We sit on our laps with it.
Yeah.
Watching the telly.
Or stand stocking at the side of a microwave.
Yeah.
Times have changed and it's not for the better.
Mm.
Call me old.
Anyway, someone was saying there's plastic in our bodies, so yeah, we're eating plastic
Yes,
cheese,
microplastics is everywhere, yes. The clothes you're wearing are made of microplastics, the fibres, we ingest them every day. Fleeces, fleece jackets, they're recycled from milk carton bottles. It's all plastic.
I couldn't believe it, like, because I haven't had to, I used to always be buying little toys because I had kids of my own, but I was looking at things and I was just thinking, everything is plastic. All the children's toys are plastic.
Mm-hmm.
That's the oil business, the petro oil, everything's got an interest. Nikola Tesla invented the electric AC motor before, Henry Ford had established the combustion engine. So, point of note for everybody, Brother Tesla had a technology superior, more effective, cost effective, zero pollutant, and no raping of the world's oil resources, minerals that we own and have the right to, and in fact are
Dominion of.
beneficiaries of. And it's like, hang on, and then Henry Ford's crappy little car that you had to have someone in front of him, with a flag, and how it operated. Turns out, that was inferior, polluting technology, but because boys and girls, brothers and sisters, famalan, and ones yet, to cognise this, Tesla was made to look like a fool and an idiot and a chimp, and Henry Ford was to lead in the production of the combustion engine. I can say this for first-hand knowledge because I've looked at documented evidence and stuff, and it turns out the money and the corporate greed overwon man's evolution to what we should have, how we should have gone. So the oil is very important because of the dollar and the petrodollar, import, export, barrels of it. And I'm saddened, I really am, for mankind, because we've let corporate greed do that to us when we'd have all been in electric cars, Andy. Can you imagine the fun we would have been having?
I know.
Wow. The Tesla cars are just being brought out now, so that is pure evidence of how retarded. Yeah, our technology is extremely retarded. We may think we've got the latest handsets and the latest this, that, and another. No. Well, this was here many years ago. It was said many years ago that man will talk to a man across the other side of the plane and keep the device in his shirt pocket.
Look at the DuPont. What are they? Them French guys. Look at them plastics.
The family.
Plastics in your body. Okay, let's go. Indigo, go data. We have plastics that are sold in the supermarkets right now for you to put your food in that are BPA free. You can search what Bravo, Papa, Alpha stands for on any search engine you desire. I'll leave that to you. Now, you also get other plastics that are not BPA free, and that's not the only isolated toxic thing that is in the plastics. Look at what gases are released from plastics when you use it in a microwave. Enter DuPont. They made the Teflon coating initially. They're not exclusively now. I need to be careful with my claims, but they were involved in the pioneering aspect of various kitchen Tupperware plastics and technologies that are heat resistant, I'll claim it as. And since finding this out and the invention of the microwave and such plastics going in and being subatomically thermally heated, no less, turns out they kick out poisonous gases. The bottle of water that the white van man has to be healthy because he doesn't want to have his Coca-Cola, he puts it in his van. That there plastic that water is packaged in is not BPA free. You'd expect it to be. Food Standards Safety Agency, stuff like that. That's exactly right, boys and girls, family. But no, they let it go through. What? By mistake? No, not by mistake. So your body can contain those exact contaminants in microparticles. And if you're not convinced with that, we recycle our plastics and pay the councils to take it away. What do? Ship it to China, and China just chuck it in a stream and it ends up in the sea. And then you get the big blue planet brought by Sir David Attenborough telling everybody, here in the underworld, we have plastic everywhere in the sea, and we all feel bad. And it's just like, I give up with it all. We need to.
Yeah, we buy it. And then we have to get rid of it. They put it in the plastic. Then I think the company's making us have it plastic, like so much of it. They're the ones that should
It's an
deal with it.
agenda. Andy said it. There's an agenda, everybody, and it's not by accident. This is the thing. We're waking up to it. It sounds insane, but these. All right, Johnson's baby. Oh, I'm name dropping again. Upsie, no liability because it's true though. Proof of claim, everyone. Johnson's was found to have baby powder issues. Was it not associated with cancer? Anybody? Recently in the news. Yeah, these food products and things that deliver cancerous,
yes, Nivea sunscreen for kids.
Is this accident, would you say, or would this be perhaps a planned thing that, wasn't so much of an accident? Because it's got to go through rigorous testing. Unbelievable. Chemical companies making food products. Yeah, man's...
Yeah, I know, but that 5G thing, they haven't really tested all that out to see what it does to people. And yet, when I find, I've even found websites, parents for whatever, for this 5G, they say, you do not put it near children or people or at all. They're putting it, that's where they're putting it, is with all the people. And they haven't tested all that out.
Soft war, silent kills, that's what it's about. Agenda, hello, agendas, that's what we've got, Andy, have we not? Yeah. 2030, he said earlier. An Agenda 2030. There's a film. Has anybody, chat room, famalan here on the panel, Patricia included, had the displeasure of watching the film with Rick Mayall's last production, One by One, by Diane Jessie Miller, where they say the world's population will be reduced and this, that, the other. It's quite a harrowing subject, to be honest, and it's not easy to get hold of, but there was someone on eBay selling copies.
Yeah.
Patricia's seen it.
Have you?
Yeah.
What did you think? Oh, excellent. What did you think, sister?
Bad
acting.
Yeah, well, it was pretty much everything that I thought was happening in a film. It was quite, and this depopulation thing is the one thing that gets me. I'd love to live in a community where everyone got on, religion wasn't a problem, everything. But
depopulation, have a look at the Bill Gates agenda.
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, we want to love each other and care for each other, and they're just wanting to destroy us. Little by little. They're not doing it in one fell swoop. They're doing it so slowly.
HIV, Ebola, all these things have all got patent numbers. Why would that be?
Yeah, it's like people need to wake up for that. Just that on its own. Depopulation. Why would they want to? They want people to be so financially down that they end up killing themselves because they just can't see a way out. And
you even make money out of death.
Yeah, that's the one thing that really gets me, the depopulation thing.
Or that basically we're just an ongoing experiment for them. The whole thing we're in is we're being experimented on, aren't we?
We got to fulfill the book, said Bob Marley.
Like children, like now, a lot of children have got autism because they're experimenting on us. When we were younger, it was children being born without limbs and things, wasn't it, Patricia? It's not just something that's been happening recently. They've been doing this for a long time.
Was it? Well, I can't say that.
Yeah, what they got injected with, that's it.
Lord, yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about that, Karen, I was quite lucky because obviously I was born in 1961, and my mum, mainly for pregnant women that were suffering from morning sickness. So I'm quite glad that my mum didn't suffer from it. But yeah, it was got banned, didn't it? It was from America, and there's this thing when people talk about America, it's not the people that are the problem, it's the governments. Ban the governments. No, anyway. The thing is, and then it was given to Americans for something else. So you're like, why would you want to do something that You know, all right, so it's not being used for that, but they change it, don't they? You know, they just want to get money out of people.
They create lifetime customers.
And you know something else as well? Like, I only know this because I had an alcoholic boyfriend, but I didn't know. He didn't tell me he was an alcoholic when I was starting to go out with him. I'd known him for years, and I just didn't know. And you know, I started to read this book, and basically, alcohol's the biggest depressant that you can ever take. And the thing is that you're doing it to yourself. You're making yourself depressed. You get a little high, but the majority of the time, if you're heavily drinking, it brings depression.
That's why it's a devil's advocate. You're drinking from the devil's slipper. That's why I'm teetotal.
It made me stop drinking at all because I don't think he ever met me not being drunk. He was drinking 5 bottles of wine a day. And that's if that was the truth. I mean, that's a lot of alcohol. And really, it's why his marriage broke down, because he'd tell his wife he was at the office, but the office was the pub.
It's all I can say is that, you know, through history you've got the depiction of wine and bloodletting and sacrifice, you know, through the history of what we can find, you know, in this current faith that has a quite a dominance around the realm. I don't know anywhere where they drink the blood of Christ and eat the flesh of Christ as a way of, like, you know, paying homage. I don't know any other person, like sect, cult. It's just a bit weird when I was a child, and makes you wonder about them, doesn't it? You know, the ways that they operate and for why they do that. It shows you the
Yeah,
type
every
of
avenue,
mentality,
everything.
alcohol, blood, and sacrifice throughout the ages. Do you think suddenly they've given up on that? All they've done is learn how to disguise it and then cut and for us to do it for them. I see that, Andy sees that, and we try to break that very chain right there. 5 bottles of wine, great. Oh my days, jeez Louise, I shudder. Honestly, that's a lot. You're right. That's a bad way. No man should feel the need to consume that amount to exist in this realm, just to get by and exist. You go to the
Power.
doctor and say, I don't feel right, doctor, can you help me? And you tell the doctor, says, why, what's up? I think you know, things aren't normal. And you tell them how you feel about your straw man. Next thing he's trying to get you medicated up. You're like, no, you don't. Oh wow. And you know, so the man turns to a bottle because nobody is willing to talk to anybody or help, are they? Go on, Andy. I yield. I'm yielding.
Yeah. It's the whole round that way, isn't it? It's big money, the pharmaceuticals, and that they're pulling one way or another. But
Thing is, the thing
alcohol
is,
itself is a big
most
money
people
maker.
don't.
Tax. Yes.
Most people don't know that they don't know.
That's right. That's right. If I come into power, we'd have prohibition overnight. And that's why alcohol is so cheap compared to any other drug that is illegal at the moment. Like cannabis, for instance. You know, I've never seen anybody die or overdose from it, and they don't beat the wife up after a joint and all these sorts of things. You know what I mean? And it's there, kept at that rate it's at, because it brings good revenue for the NHS after a fight or a fall. It brings good revenue for the nightclubs and the kebab shops, and
Hospitals,
brings
yeah,
and good
ambulances,
revenue through the
police,
taxes that it brings into the government as well. So it's a good all-round winner, and in their mind, so that's
adoption,
why.
forced adoption. Oh Lord, yeah, go on.
They've done it with crystals as well, because crystals are a hippie thing. Oh, if you're not into hippies, then you won't like crystals. They've done it
Yes,
with other things. They've just made sure that it's cut off, and yet
Yeah,
crystals are really important.
ether. Earth is ether.
Heart, ether, earth.
Actually,
Yes.
on that note, I'm going to pick up my great big sphere of rose quartz. It's huge. It's about the size of like a cricket ball, but it's obviously really heavy because it's, you know,
The
it's.
house I'm currently residing is full of crystals everywhere. They're in every corner and everything. My girlfriend is holistic and she's mad about it, and they're everywhere.
Yeah, get some rose quartz.
They're here on the table in front of me.
Yeah. I love amethyst, rose quartz. They're my favourite.
There are many things to get you through in this realm. It's like a talisman, the Chinese, the Asians. I've looked into these beliefs of colors, vibrations. Colors have vibrations, crystals and objects cut into things all through the ages. There's evidences again of how man has connected. The Sumerian, they really get me. The blue-eyed Sumerian, depictions of these and Malayan ones and stuff through the histories, and the artifacts are what I found, what man's worn to occupy, accompany him through the eons that he apparently has been on this realm. And yeah, alcohol is disconnected. I'll use the American Indians as a disconnect there. The land that they had, their lifestyle, the buffalo, the plains, yeah. And then obviously now the Americas, the land of the brave and free, and the reservations that the Indians have got with casinos and alcohol. Now let's take a before and after shot. Let's a real Kodak moment, everybody. Let's take a before and after shot of these poor souls and what's happened to them. And do you think the introduction of alcohol has done them any favors? They had the peace pipe before, as Andy said, they were teetotal probably, and now look at it. Look what the white man's done with its freedom and liberties. It's an absolute joke. I feel ashamed when I get up to the big man. I'm just going to say I'm sorry. I tried my best. Simply done. Alcohol. It's a spirit. Alcohol. Alcohol is it? There's a name for it there. There's a reason why we have betting shops and gun shops and alcohol shops on every corner. It's again, we do it to ourselves. They do it. They let us do it. And it's
Do man a favour.
heartbreaking.
I would have prohibition
Heartbreaking.
overnight, mate. Overnight.
Yeah, Pornhub shut down. Internet sex sites shut
Overnight. Straight
down.
away. First
Tell
thing,
you,
straight away.
bosh,
No messing
bosh.
about. Too right.
Everybody that's unemployed, we've got a new plan. All right, it's going to be community time. Off we go. Collect up, yeah. London stabbings. I'm side to sidetrack, but I do like to repeat stuff for those that haven't heard it. And that Mr. Khan, London Mayor, it's going to take 10 years. There was after the news that I brought you of the 4 stabbings in 3 days. There was a 5th stabbing in a consecutive 5th stabbing now, because there was probably multiple on one day on the 4th day. And I was like, you're joking me. I've only just covered this. And somebody died as I was reporting it. Somebody got stabbed in London. Yeah. So that is a nasty synchronicity. And it just goes to show you that there's something out there in evil, and it's programming the children. It's overriding them. They're on cocaine, alcohol, legal highs, and we're not happy. And Mr. Javid Khan there, Savid Javid, is it even? Not Mr. Khan. I take that back. I'm tired. Get it right. Savid Javid. There was no Mr. Khan. It was him, and he said 10 years, and I said we want 100,000 spirit souls, men, to look at tackling this and distribute them in every city, a landmass, and look at moving on with this consciousness development that we're all part of here and we're all responsible for, because families and blood are the ultimate, and societies aren't being built, they're being torn down. I'm yielding.
Yes, that's one of the things that you realise, isn't it? Is that that's the whole point, is to break society down. We've been put in like boot camp and they haven't told us.
Divide and rule. That's what it's all about. Segregate, divide, rule.
And this whole thing, when people go, like everybody's got a story about how someone hates them or they've made us hate them, and colours, the whole thing. They've done it to everybody, every colour, everybody.
Victimising oneself. That's what it's all about.
Or that's what they've made us believe. Because
Exactly.
we don't even know how much of the history's correct anymore. Because it isn't, is it?
They're trying to get it so everyone hates everyone. That's exactly how they'd like everyone
I've
to war
said
with
that so
everyone.
many times. It's just about making sure you hate everybody. Out there it is, or you're better than them.
We've all done it ourselves. The simplest way that I can put it across is a term I always use is all of us have done it. We've walked through maybe town centres and we've seen someone walk in the opposite direction. We've never met them before, never seen them before, probably never will again. But there's just something about them that it prickles your hair up. You don't like them. It may be the way they walk or the way they or whatever the case may be. But that thing that initially sparks you, triggers you to not like, is exactly what's in you. So, or once you recognise and you're aware and you have the level of consciousness of self-awareness to see hatreds that you once perceived to have in other self, And when you have the state self in the heart consciousness required, then all these things like this will dissipate, and that's the state of affairs that we need to get back to right there.
Yes, Andy. So I always feel like a deep breath when you've been talking. Yeah.
Sorry.
Thing is that nobody cares anymore. I mean,
They believe they haven't got time. That's why the construct of time has been ramped up, and no one believes they have time for anybody else nor themselves. They're all running around like headless chickens. They need to stop, take a breath, wait a minute, give themselves a minute, which then allows others that same minute, because you are I and I are you, and that's how it goes here. Give yourself some time. In turn, that's giving others the time around you that's required.
yeah, but you're not responsible for everyone else, and if they don't
No.
want to be where you are spiritually, or
A
whatever.
family man, you see, you have to, you can't please everybody, but ultimately you have to start with yourself. If you want to please, no one else can please you. You have to start with yourself.
Back to the self again.
It sounds selfish, but it all starts with the self. Know thyself.
And a word that's not used very much, love.
It's love thyself. That's what it is.
Love,
that's what I
love.
always advocate, and I can't promote enough, is to love thyself, and not to be misconstrued with the ego, where I don't mean each car you walk past, you have to check yourself in the window and look at the mirror constantly 24/7.
Yeah, because if you can't be kind to yourself, how are you going to be kind to anyone else?
Exactly. And how can others be kind to you if you can't even do it to yourself? So you can't help those who can't help themselves. You can't love those who can't love themselves. That's just the laws of nature. What is inwardly manifested is outwardly attracted. It's as simple as that. And, through your own action, you may repel others that are there to love you through your own action of not loving yourself. And it's an awful state of disbelief.
Can I say it's not? Somebody put something to me in an email, and it was quite horrific how they put it. I won't scar you all, but it wasn't that bad, but it was bad enough. They basically said, if somebody, David, you're talking crap when you talk about the law of attraction, and I tell you, I read and answer every email, and I did answer him politely and honourably, and I says it's a matter of interpretation, the law of attraction. But this was put to me. If there is a young child and they are in a place there where they are vulnerable and they are taken advantage of, I'm going to summarize and gloss around the edges for you, but you get the picture. And this child is vulnerable. They are abused and taken advantage of when they are younger. Then they are left to grow up. They go through care and they become a young adult. Now, this young adult is carrying a demon, and it's carrying burdens, it's carrying negative energy, and it's inwardly, manifesting negativeness and dark thoughts and things like that. It's been left, unmanaged, unattended, unfestered, it's festering, and it's been, unmanaged. So therefore, they go through the life, David, it was put to me in this email, constantly attracting bad luck and negativity and misfortune and maybe further abuse, yeah? And they put down what this further abuse may be. So I fully understood, and I do fully understand all of this. Believe me, it's very, very clear and apparent to us and others, you guys especially. So I says, you are bang on. I says, I won't even try and defend that. That's the clincher in life, that if you don't know, ignorance is no defense, family. It really isn't, which is why we have this voice, and it's important that you carry on your work, Sun and Moon, and what you do. And I know some of them aren't here because they've got other engagements. Flat Earth dude, you said so. Yeah, it's important that we all carry on this work. It really is, and it's an equal effort by us all is required.
Application.
Yeah, and we're all doing our bit.
Yeah, just because it's a massive job. It requires a family effort, and only
you can't do it all on your own.
When the family join together and we actually do something, maybe then the heavens will open and we'll clap his hands and you know what, well done. I've been waiting for you all just to get together, and having the 12 tribes of Israel have finally got to whatever it is he thinks we're called and known as, get together, and he says, well done, you lot, come this way. like that scene in Life of Brian. Crucifixion, yes, this way. Crucifixion, yes, this way. Crucifixion, no, freedom, actually. Oh, freedom, this way. No, only joking. Crucifixion. Oh, come on, they make a mockery of it. It's just, that's all it would, I'm sure, that's all it would take, at the end of the day. Like, it's a consciousness movement, is it not?
Yeah, it's so like that children's story, you know, with the emperor when, you know, he's not actually wearing anything and they're too afraid until someone stands up and says he's naked. It's that way. I don't understand how some of us see it. I understand it, and a lot don't care, don't know, don't want to know.
Our emperor once ruled our empire. Our king once ruled our kingdom. We now have a country.
It is a thinker, that one. I do like it, Andy, that one. It's a sovereign joke, you see. Look at that. It's proper sovereign. Now it remains sovereign at all times, but got the message across. You're a proper back to front. A Cockney rhyming slang would be back to front. Yeah, sorry, ladies. We try to remain honourable all times.
That's okay, David.
It's the cleanest one I know.
Anyway, we've been on for, I don't know, we've done an hour and a half now, David.
I've got to get up at 5 o'clock. I'm on the road at 5:15, so it's a
Yeah.
good call for me now as well.
But I would like to say that I'm very proud of both of you with your document. Really, thank you.
Thank you.
I thank everybody that's involved.
To thank me is to thank yourself anyway for IRU.
Because people may not realise it isn't just something that he stuffed out in an hour. It's been hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of his life to give away.
Yeah, it's hours of a lot of man's lives. All we do is just put it together. Is just get it to, get it out there basically, so it can be appreciated and digested and worked on further.
And you don't need a computer to know this stuff. You don't need a computer to know thyself. I've never had a computer in my life. I don't know how you work one. I don't know the left to the right side. You can know this stuff just from a few books and knowing who you are, having faith.
Yeah, well, it's what resonates, isn't it? So it obviously was there when you were
It's
little.
that which is just right and proper.
Yeah, it's application. You can learn it. In the olden days, before the internet, man had a library, and he went to a library and you used different methods. It's just you choose whatever, indigos, rainbows, light workers, crystals. We have a lot of different eclectic community now, so we all appreciate our areas and we go into them areas, and that's all that is happening here. And that document is not my all of my work. It's some of my rearrangement. I'm an arranger. DJs arrange musical tracks and compose to the audience. I'm an entertainer, if anything, and we're not so much entertaining you now in that we're kind of scaring you into not into submission, but scaring you into becoming alive, to get your heart beating, to get to that point. And our document is to help, and it's from others, and it's been a pleasure, Andy, go on.
Yeah, also you're trying to help people.
All as we've got is each other and our health. All the rest is stuff. So it's time to stand together, stand strong. Instead of standing in line, one behind the other, can't see what's going on. We've got to stand shoulder to shoulder, side by side, strength that way round, in the same cognitive thought train, on the same track, all at the same point, singing from the same sheet, like I was saying earlier. You know, in harmony. It's all about the harmony.
And it is a consciousness, isn't it? This frequency consciousness thing. It's a vibration.
Yes.
Free choice. With all this information at hand, it's a free choice to be ignorant. And to some extent, you'd argue that those that haven't got eyes and ears to see and hear it would deserve what's coming, but they don't deserve it because it's deception and trickery, whether it be about the realm or about status, standing, capacity, obligations, legal liability, who owns what. When you tell me that your child is registered and you've no longer got rights to it, that scares me. When we've been and seen it happen firsthand and stuff, we've got reason to make noise now, and you guys have with what's going off in the realm. And
I put a little post on my wall on Facebook earlier, and it simply said, "A blind man that can see is better than a seeing man that is blind."
I like it.
That's a thing. Stop making us think it's late. Oh, my brain. Bella. Thank you, chat room. Thank you, moderators, for managing. And I've seen there's been some activity there, as always. Big hearts to you. I've given some more blue spanners out tonight, wrenches, tools, whatever you want to call it. Common law sheriffs have been appointed. It doesn't matter what it's called, but thank you. And we love and need you to help us out to bring this, and so we don't have to sit there. I will go back and have a quick chat after you lot have gone and answer any questions that may be unleft. And yes, I appreciate you've got to go. I've got to be up at 6:30. So yeah, we'll crack on. Thank you. It's been brilliant. I'd like to have you back sometime if you get the other it was missing, just Flat Earth Dude now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get him to let us know when he's free.
Can I say big thank you to the chat room? Mwah!
Off you go.
And thank you very much, David, mwah, and Andy, mwah, and Patricia. And actually, Andy, David, you asked quite a while ago, didn't you, for us to come on?
Oh, I knew you needed a break. I was concerned you was doing too much. I'm like, these guys are flat out. Let's get them to come over and say hello and see how we get on.
Yeah, we are family. Sorry, that's my terrible singing. But
I got all my sisters with me. Ooh.
Bless you. Love you lots. Thank you, everybody.
Patricia?
You are released. Your duties are fulfilled. You are released. The chat room, and I say peace, love, and unity.
I think Patricia's going to say something. She's turned her mic off.
Yeah. I was just going to say thank you, David, for inviting us on here. It's been really good. Keep up the good work, and if you need any help, just message me.
Aww.
I like to help in any way I can.
You're doing
I love you all.
Yeah, you're doing a good job to look after this sister here. That's your job.
Look, she's got a cushion for everybody. It's a cushion. It's a heart. She's got a heart for everyone.
That I made myself. It's a bit wonky, but it's there. It's got some nice words on it.
It's beautiful. Anyway, thank you, David, Andy, Patricia, chat room.
Thank you.
Yeah, chat room as well. Love you all.
Big hugs.
I can't see the chat room. I'm on my little handheld device here, but listen, love to the chat room. I hope you've all had a nice time between one another. I would ordinarily be in the chat room myself, but we're doing front of house tonight with Brother G, so Indigo. Are you stopping on a little bit longer, are you, brother, or is that you?
I'll just see what they're saying, and then I'm going to turn in myself, yeah.
All right, so we leave then, David, then?
Yeah, if you want to, you can leave, and then, we're not having after chat. You can get off. You are released, and then I'll just check. Let me just, if you want to get straight off, you can get off, and then.
Oh, okay. Andy, Patricia, David, chat room again.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Much love.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Love you
Bye,
all.
Patricia.
See you later.
Bye, Karen. Bye, David, Andy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. See you later, brothers, sisters.
I'm still there, brother.
Amazing. Let me go to the chat room. I'll just see.
That's what I thought. I'll just hang on an extra 5 minutes to see why you go through the chat room. I don't know if there's any questions for us or anything like that,
Yeah, man. Nice one. I'll put you there so the light's not so much of a contrast. Lost the chat room. 1 minute. Too far. Too giddy. It's one of these mouse wheels. It's like a turbo. They're so good, them. I don't know how I managed without one before. It's a godsend. Literally is good. Whoever made that mouse wheel invention, he's going straight to the top. Right. GoPro. I want to read some names out. Mandy, I like your phonics earlier. Good etymology with terabyte, Andy. They were talking phonics in the chat room. Digital storage capacity, gigabyte, terabyte, tera, and byte. And I was like, wow, yeah, incredible. Phonics. P900, yes, thank you. Jones has been in the house. Mr. Menza, Sister Tracy, 38 watching now. Patricia, Son of Moon, thank you. Angela, Unfettered Minds. Jerry, Son of Mick. Jamie Oliver. There's some posts in here we might want to pick up. There's some links, Andy, I see then. A little bit of a chat room chat, some jokes and whatnot. Greg's been in.
Excellent.
Stephen. Just no, we haven't really got some links to pick up there with the chat, but they're talking in, agreeing with the chat and dipping in and out. So I'm halfway up.
Okay, mate.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all peace and love. Matthew John's been in earlier. Just picked up. Yeah, Chill Star, Midnight Gardener. I've said Menza. Yeah, Jesus Jones, son of Mick. That's all right then. Nice one. Yeah, we're all good. We are good to go, brother. Everybody's happy. Thank you very much. That was something different. Wasn't nice not to talk about law so much and take a break and get the girls in.
That's nice.
Yeah, you like it, Andy? Fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Well,
attending.
just, speak my own gospel, get my own verses in there and convert it all and bring it back to the layman idiot style, that which can be understood and stood on when you pronounce it to others.
Yeah, it was good. You had some good selections there, brother.
Man knows where to look in the book, boy.
Yeah, I know you do. You do know where to look. Thank you. It's a pleasure as always, and thank you for the time. We are free to go, brother, until tomorrow.
Another
What
day
was
comes.
it the Littlest Hobo? Until tomorrow. Let's
Okay.
go.
Peace and love, one and all, and thank you for joining us. It's amazing the feedback and the love that we get back. It's overwhelming. So thank you very much from myself, and it's good night from him. Back to the studio.
Thank you. I can't even spell my space bar. What's happened there? Can't let that go out without being checked. What? Mosh. Let's go. Get out of here. Make sure I get this. Where's my screen? There is that screen. In this one. Yeah, it is. It's backwards. Can't hold it. Why? It's all backwards.